Today, we're stepping right into the clinic. I'm putting on my physical therapist hat because we're going to dive deep into the actual biomechanics of nerve health to solve a really common, literally agonizing problem. If you've ever dealt with that sharp shooting pain down the back of your leg, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? But the solution we're going to explore today, it completely flips the traditional approach on its head. Let's get into it. So let's challenge a massive misconception right out of the gate. Why on earth is your go-to hamstring stretch actually making your sciatica worse? Seriously. When we feel tightness or pain in our leg, our absolute first instinct is to stretch it out. We pull, we reach for our toes, we basically try to force that tissue to lengthen. But pulling on your leg to relieve this specific type of pain is actually a terrible idea. And today, we're going to use clinical mechanics to explain exactly why that is.
Moving right into Section 1, the sciatica stretching myth, and diagnosing the real problem.
As physical therapists, it's absolutely crucial that we diagnose the actual mechanics of what's happening internally rather than just blindly reacting to where the pain happens to be. Because where you feel the symptoms isn't always where the problem actually lives. We have to clearly contrast what you're feeling with the clinical reality. To you, it feels exactly like a tight hamstring muscle that just desperately needs a good stretch, but the reality? That feeling isn't tight muscle tissue at all. No way. It is extreme nerve tension. It's literally your sciatic nerve screaming out.
And that brings us to a crucial clinical truth we live by when evaluating these cases. Sciatica is a back problem, not a leg problem. Let me say that again. It's a back problem. Pulling on an already irritated nerve in your leg by doing a standard hamstring stretch, well, that's just a recipe for creating even more pain. Think about it. You're stretching a nerve that's already tethered and angry. The root cause of that tension doesn't live in your leg. It lives further up the chain, directly in your spine. So instead of making things worse by tugging on the leg, we're going to use 3 specific clinical steps to address sciatica directly at the source. Step 1, reduce disc pressure. Step 2, the nerve floss. And step 3, unlock the pelvis. Let's walk through the biomechanics of how you actually free up this nerve.
Which brings us right to Step 1, reducing disc pressure, where we target the source of the compression.
Okay, here's the exact physical setup. First, you're going to start by getting all the way down and laying flat on your stomach. Next, you bring the symptomatic leg, the painful one, right out to the side. Once you're in that position, you gently push your upper body up into extension. You're just lifting your chest off the floor, but only going as far as you comfortably can. No need to force it.
Now, this brilliantly illustrates the mechanics of what's actually happening inside your back. When you get into this specific extension position with the leg out, you're mechanically targeting the exact disc on the side that's hitting the sciatic nerve. By pushing up, you are actively reducing that localized disc pressure. The whole goal here is that with every single repetition of this extension, you're physically pulling pressure away from the nerve. You're calming that radiating leg pain directly from the source. It's honestly a game changer.
All right, moving on to step 2, the nerve floss, focusing on opening space and restoring mobility.
So we've created some breathing room at the disc, right? Now we can actually target the sciatic nerve itself and get it moving smoothly again. To set up this clinical movement, you're going to switch positions and lay on your side. But listen, here is the critical part. You need to tuck a pillow right under your waist to force your lower back to arch upward toward the ceiling. Once that structural arch is locked in place, you grab the painful leg and begin a gentle, dynamic flossing motion.
Now, the internal why behind that pillow is absolutely fascinating. We aren't just moving the leg to stretch it. The pillow mechanically arches the low back, which physically opens up the holes in the side of your spine where the nerves exit. You're essentially creating a structurally bigger tunnel. Then, the flossing motion pulls that nerve back and forth through this newly expanded space. This frees the nerve, dramatically boosts blood flow to the area, and flushes out all that painful inflammation. It's an incredibly targeted biomechanical technique.
And that leads us to our final phase, step 3, unlock your pelvis, which is totally essential for sustaining this relief for the long term.
Look, if we just stop at the nerve floss, the relief might be totally temporary. We need to create a structurally supportive environment around your lower spine so that compression doesn't immediately return the second you stand up from the floor. So here's how we establish that support. You position yourself down on all fours, and you spread your knees out nice and wide. From there, you sit back deeply to really open up those hips. After sitting back, you rock forward, and as you do, you internally rotate one hip at a time.
By doing this rocking and rotating sequence, you're actively unlocking the joints in the hips and the pelvis. Now, why does this matter for nerve health? Well, because when your hips and pelvis are tight and locked up, your lower back essentially takes on all the stress of your daily movements.
By freeing up the pelvis, you take that systemic, everyday pressure right off the lower back and the sciatic nerve. It restores proper movement patterns so you can function better long-term without immediately re-aggravating the whole area.
Finally, let's talk about next steps for nerve health to provide some comprehensive clinical solutions.
These 3 biomechanical steps, reducing disc pressure, flossing the nerve through an open spinal space, and unlocking the pelvis, are how you actually address sciatica the right way. It's a structured, mechanical fix, rather than just blindly pulling on a sore leg hoping a tight muscle will magically let go. If you are looking to explore this complete, lifelong solution further, there's actually a great resource from the source material. You can text the word PAIN to 317-751-9509 to get more info, which even includes a free sonic effects demo. It's definitely a resource to keep in your back pocket if you need to take these biomechanical principles further.
So, we've walked through the actual mechanics of why pulling on your leg fails and exactly how altering the space in your spine succeeds. The next time that familiar, agonizing shooting pain flares up, I really want you to stop stretching and ask yourself a serious question. Moving forward, are you going to keep treating the victim, which is that pain radiating down your leg? Or are you finally going to treat the real culprit, the mechanical compression in your back?